sadly. Not sadly, happily, because you've progressed a lot. A lot. So I like to ask the question during the termination session. Um, what's something that you've learned from therapy?
Well, I've learned how important it is to set boundaries.
Mm. Can you give me an example of a way that you have set a boundary in your life that was most helpful to you?
Well, what was most helpful to me was, because, I have, my children are grown, and then I have my grandchildren, and then I guess sometimes I don't like the way my son might be, raising my grandchild. So it's just, and then the things that go on and that stresses me. So I learned, like, during therapy, just to set boundaries that those are his children, and he has to raise them the way he sees fit.
Yeah.
How I raised mine, totally different, but stepping back, it was hard because I watched things and want to say something, but I noticed that I'm not as stressed as I had been because, my job was already stressful. So just, it helped me to eliminate some of that stress by setting boundaries. I really didn't know what setting boundaries was until we talked about it.
Wow. I'm glad I was able to provide you with a new tool that you can use in your workplace, in your family, your personal life. You can even set boundaries with yourself emotionally. Were you able to do any of the other boundary setting?
I did it work.
You did it. Good for you.
I'll go. Setting boundaries. My therapist said I had to set boundaries. Back up. And they would laugh at me all the time, but hey, they understood.
That's good. That's good. I'm really, really glad that was very helpful for you. Another goal that we had was to decrease the frequency of procrastination. I know that sometimes many people have that in their spirit sometimes, and that's okay. Everything in moderation, right? Boundaries.
Yes.
So, how has that been for you?
It's gotten a lot better.
Okay.
I used to put things off all the time.
Which I'm sure added to your stress.
It did. I was going to say, I waited to the last minute and then I was stressed. So after a while, that kind of gets old. And then when you get to the place where you miss out on something because you kept procrastinating, that was me. So I was like, I can't do that anymore. I sat down. Now, since we're all stuck in the house, or had been stuck in the house for forever, and now we're back out, I was able to do some things that I just kept putting off. Yeah. So I actually would write them down because how in my head I'm like, I got this, I got to do this. I have so many things that I have to do. Sometimes it's so overwhelming, I don't do anything at all. And so that really didn't help with my procrastination.
I've been there for sure.
But when I had been home, I felt like, oh wow, I don't have any excuses. So what I did was start prioritizing, writing them down, like you said. I started prioritizing them, and then it just felt good to check them off and just to look at how long my list was and how much I had accomplished. I mean, I like that idea of writing it down and going back and look and seeing what you accomplished.
Yeah, that is amazing. I am so proud of you. I can recall like the beginning stages of our therapeutic alliance or relationship. I can just see like in your face and your demeanor how less stressed you are, and I'm so happy for you. How's your family doing? I know like the implementation of boundaries can be difficult for everybody that they affect. So how did your children and other members of your family adapt to the new boundaries?
I think they kind of liked it because I think they felt like I was in their business, but they would come and tell me. But then when I offer my opinion, they didn't want to hear. Sometimes I might go over the top a little bit because you know how grandmothers can be, but it just got better. And I think sometimes they look for me to like give my input, and I'm gonna let you have that one. So yeah, but it's it's better, and it's also better for me.
Yeah. And what about your grandchildren? The ones that lived with you?
They're fine. I'm allowing them to be more of themselves instead of being stressed and worried, because I was always worried about, different things. What are they doing? Do they remember what I told them not to do, what to do? But at the end of the day, I had to remind myself that I feel like I gave them the foundation that they needed.
Yeah.
And I have to accept the fact that once I've given it to them, they have to decide whether they're going to use it or not. Because I don't need the extra. So I used to just put everything on me. Even I used to feel like if they failed, then it was me. Or maybe I didn't say enough, do enough, or express enough. But I've learned, no. Once you kind of establish like a foundation, and when you're raising your children or your grandchildren, well, once you instilled something in them, I realize it's their choice whether they're gonna do it or not. And I just couldn't allow it to control me anymore. I didn't have no life myself. Remember when I told you I just want to live?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I'm living now.
Wow, that's incredible.
I got a new job.
What?
Yes. So I was able to let go. Yes. And I feel even better too.
That is amazing. I love success stories. Sometimes in the therapeutic process, we have ups and downs as you experience, like in the whole phase where we started first implementing boundaries. Let's kind of like go back, and here's what I mean by that. So let's explore that in the sense of knowing what you know now. 10 years ago, how do you think your life would have been? Like, would it be drastically different? Like, could you imagine it? I don't know. You tell me. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, it would be drastically different.
Okay. And how do you think it would be different? In what ways?
In the way that I feel like I would have spent more time on myself versus other people, and making sure that I did more self-care and that my needs were met as well as theirs, instead of putting everybody first all the time.
I see. Okay, that's wonderful. I'm so glad that we have been able or afforded the opportunity to go through this journey together. Always, it's sad to me to lose a client, but it also is rewarding, I'm sure, for the client as well as the therapist. But I'm glad when we can terminate things when you're at a great place in your life. So I'm super excited for your future, and it gives me peace to know that you have things in your toolbox to need, or if you need in the future, that you know how to use them, and and how to implement boundaries. And we've gotten procrastination down, and that's wonderful. So this is the part that I don't like, but I'm really happy that you're here in the sense of a better place.
I am. Thank you, Ms. Brandi.
My pleasure. It's always a pleasure being able to help someone else. Well, Marie, again, I'm so proud of your progress, and if you ever need anything in the future, don't hesitate to reach out to us. If you need to come back for a session 2, 3, that's perfectly fine. If you ever need a referral for anything, call the office and they'll let me know. But it was a pleasure working with you. I'm glad you can continue this journey of life with less stress.
Me too.
Yes, and that will be it. My heart is so sad, but happy at the same time.
Me too, Ms. Brandi.
Okay, and I'll walk you out if there's anything else. If there's not anything else.
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.